Welcome, race fans, back to SVR Racing. My name is Webbo, here to join you for tonight's action. This is the Adrian Newey designed Red Bull X 2014 Junior Championship, briefly known as AN, here at SVR. And this is how things look after the first two rounds of the 2025 VR Simracing World Championship for this division. It's Pat Finn on top with a maximum score for the regular season drivers so far of 33 points, ahead of his teammate who has 22, joint with Jazzy Beats in the Brokaga car. Both drivers on 22 points at the start of today's race. We have Biggerwood in 4th place on 20 points, close behind. And then, of course, we've got teammate in the Jamplacht Interiors car, Revelit, on 16. 1 point further back is the lightning quick Wask in the Delesi car, having just completed the one race so far in 6th place. Then Yabo for Bergstein is in 7th place on 14 points. We have Sparky Watt on 13. We have a joint 9th place, Rizbak and Stormborn. Teammates for Kimi's racing team, yet to decide on team leader here in this division. In 11th is Millo on 10 points. We have Wilson Core on 5. We have Brum, who has a different username, Flobberdobadob, in 13th place on 2 points. I don't think he's racing with us today. I think there's a reserve driver in place, and Salamander or Sol in P14 on a single point so far. That means that Mega lead the championship on 55 points, ahead of Jamplacht on 36. Quite a large gap at this early stage of the season. Delesi P3 on 35, with Brokaga on 32, Buckstein 25, Kimi's 24, and Coach Dave on 18 points. This is the Suzuka round 3 of the championship. Let's have no further ado before we get underway then for this fantastic race. Let's get trackside then at Suzuka and you see how the qualifying sorted itself out. Here then we have at the back of the grid qualifying but debuting with us Lucas in P14, Rizbak down in 13th place. Then we have Black Evo in 12th. He's on the medium tyres. We've got soft tyres starting on the back row of the grid. That might be dangerous. We've got Wilson Core on the mediums in P11, with Stormborn already foot to the floor in P10 on the medium tyres to start with. We've got Millo for the Brokaga team, excuse me. He is on the soft tyres. We've got Benz on the mediums. We've got qualifying down in the order, disappointingly. We've got myself here, the second Mega driver in P7 on the medium tyres. Then we've got Jazzy Beats in P6 on the softs. In front of him in P5 on the medium, Sparky for Coach Dave, looking for good points today for the Belgian driver and the Coach Dave Academy team. Then we've got Biggerwood starting in 4th on the mediums, Pat Finn down on the second row of the grid, a surprise to many. Also starting on the medium, seems to be the favoured tyre choice of this particular start of the race. Usually a one-stop, fairly short running race here, fairly sprint level. 30 minutes or thereabouts for the drivers. Wask is on second position with the inside run unusually into turn 1 and 2 here in Suzuka on the mediums. And qualifying fastest of all was Revelit, the Hungarian Jamplacht Interiors car driver, who is on the soft tyres from the start and looking to consolidate that strong start position. That's all the runners and riders. Let's get ready for round 3 of the championship. We have a westerly 4.3 meters per second wind. It is a cold and chilly day with strong cloud cover and a possible threat of some precipitation in the air. Got 3 red lights already. Let's get underway then for the AN Division's 3rd round of the season. The revs are building. It's time to go racing. As the revs build, the lights are on, and it's drop the clutch and go, go, go away from the start. That's Pat Finn with a good start, a very equitable start, but it's Jazzy Beats on the soft tyres getting the inside run up ahead of the second Jamplacht car, Biggerwood, as they run through the order. That's Sparky Watts running wide, unfortunately ruining an early start position for him. And then we will run through as Biggerwood holds the inside line to defend from the Team Mega car, and there's contact between Benz and the Mega driver off the circuit, and then swamped by several other drivers as they run through then the snake. That's Stormborn just settling in, trying not to make any contact on lap 1 and then heading in through the next left-hander at the end of the snake. They run as then they'll run through, and Stormborn then nibbling at the rear, not quite making contact, but clearly the Mega Driver here having a difficulty getting through, and then running wide through Degner 1, embarrassing himself like crazy, and then just hanging on. But further back we've got Wilson Core getting a little bit out of shape as well. Let's just have a look at him, and from his perspective, he's following that battle that was happening on the way into the Degners. He runs in, and then of course you've got the Kimmy's car slowing unexpectedly at the apex, just trying to avoid damage, and that Stormborn getting hit in a big way, and running towards the end, the back of the grid, then being passed by teammate Sparky Watts with the troublesome start, gets back into 12th position. Teammate Wilson Core, it's not looking so good for the Coach Dave Academy drivers. We've got an issue though, because Finn has managed to get up in the order. This is how it was done. This is Finn looking at a run through the first Degner, but it's wide from Wask, and just about Finn managing to avoid race affecting contact and damage. Wask dropping down behind Biggerwood on the way through the corner that he loves so much, Degner 2, to the point where we are almost at the point of calling it Degnerwood, that corner. And then look what just happened between Benz and I think that was Millo, I want to say, running into the next run. That's no, it's further back, is it? It's Black Evo and behind and Millo, who made contact on the way through the narrow and tricky Kobayashi hairpin. It's Lucas getting up from the back of the grid up to P9 at this stage. Black Evo recovering into 10th place. No damage on the car for him as Rizback comes through. We've got Sparky Watt and Stormborn with Wilson Core at the back of the grid. But leading the way is Revelit at this stage on the soft tyres. Jazzy Beats now starting to catch here. Previous winner of the season, Finn, and leader of this nascent championship so far, channeling his Ayrton Senna hero is Jazzy Beats, the Brazilian driver, as they head down into the Cassia Triangle. Finn is stuck between two soft tyre runners, and they're certainly going to have some issues then as they run through. It's Revelit, Finn, Jazzy Beats, Biggerwood, Wask in 5th with Benz in 6th. Then comes the second Mega Driver, who has got Black Evo and Lucas the Brusque close behind here. Both, well, certainly Lucas on the soft tyres making very good use of those soft tyres to start with. Black Evo chasing down and doing his level best here. So it is a tight fight over 7th, 8th and 9th position on your screen at this time. And then further up, we've also got really close running going on. That is Wask in the Delesi car, who had his issues at the start, chasing down Jazzy Beats now. Wask's finally got those medium tyres back up to temperature and is hassling and harrying the back of the soft tyre shod Brokaga car, who is in turn staying in touch there. Biggerwood has made the pass. I didn't catch exactly when that happened, but Biggerwood has got through into 3rd place. Here it is, down the main start-finish straight. It's a classic slipstream. Good exit out of the last curve, out of the Cassia Triangle, and those medium tyres for Biggerwood switching on very, very quickly, and a great job he's done, and that partly explains why Wask has managed to close in so quickly to the back of the Brokaga driver Jazzy Beats, who needs to now make up that gap as quickly as he possibly can, because obviously on those soft tyres he's going to be taking a slower tyre to the finish of this race. Biggerwood in 3rd, Finn still in 2nd place, as he on the radio was asking frantically with Hector, what tyres is Revelit on? Please tell me he's not on the medium tyres, and I have to now catch him on the same tyre. But running through Degner 2 goes Biggerwood. We've got Jazzy Beats in 4th. Any threat of a potential pass coming? Again, it looks like the second Mega Driver making a real meal of going through the Degners there on lap 2. And Lucas, unfortunately, that's a big shame for Lucas. As I say, debuting with us, and I think reserve driving, it's the classic 2 wheels on the grass as you try to widen Degner 1 as much as possible. And then, oh dear me, just labouring around on the racing line as Rizback collides in no uncertain terms, breaks his front wing in a big way as well. That is disaster at the tail end of our AN field here. And there's Lucas the Brusque then with damage to the rear diffuser, possibly to the rear of the car overall as well. down into 12th place. A long way back are Sparky Watson, Millo having stopped and changed tyres. It looks like Sparky's trying the soft tyres at this really early stage of the race. And we'll go back to the head of the field as Revelit has a really comfortable lead at this point, but Biggerwood and Jazzy Beats are going to continue to argue over this third place on the in the order at this stage. Ben's just paying a watching brief right now and waiting for potentially an issue to happen, but it looks like Finn is starting to unlock that championship leader pace in the Team Mega car now that he's got those medium tyres up to temperature. It's Revelit, Finn, Biggerwood, Jazzy Beats and Ben's the top 5 at the end of lap 3. That is obviously only 15 laps here at this relatively short AN division races, as these are the let's say the slowest Formula drivers anyway that we have. I don't quite know how they compare to the GT3s, but it is immaterial because they only qualified and submitted qualification times for downforce cars, and most of them for this specific division anyway wanted to enjoy this without the quite the top speed issues of and some of the traction difficulties that the SF23 offers. A fantastic race car though. Everybody loves them after they've driven for a few laps, as Jazzy Beats then as they head into that Degner 1. And Jazzy Beats, oh, that is really unfortunate for him, and again another driver with those difficulties running through. That is just off the racing line. I think he'll get away with that one as I come through following on, and it's the Delesi car of Wask who picks up another position. So does Black Evo as well. Black Evo continuing to cause the second Mega driver some issues and some worries in the cockpit there as he's watching his mirrors very, very carefully. Wask in P7. We've got Jazzy Beats, unfortunately for him, down to P8 and still on those soft tyres. I imagine he will switch out of those as quickly as he can and get onto the medium tyres that comfortably seem to be running 10, even 11 laps, depending on the amount of fuel remaining on the cars. As Rizbak then continues on the Ferrari badged Kimi's Racing Team P9. Rizbak, our French racer, ahead of the American driver Wilson Core, and Stormborn, our Canadian, who is trying to navigate this race without accident or incident so far. I think avoiding any major contact, but losing positions as a result of being appropriately cautious. Some people might wish that the rest of the grid kind of behaved in a similar way at the start of this season. Hopefully our drivers will calm a little and be able to carry on. This is Millo in car number 80 in the Bro Cargo at the back of the grid at the moment with Sparky Watt. They'll be fighting over the final position here at this stage of the racing, and Revelit at the head of the field is not a million miles away from them as he comes out of the S's at the start of lap 4. We'll be looking for some of those soft starters to come through fairly soon. The gap between Revelit and Finn seeming to hover around the 3-second mark, I would estimate, just visually at this stage, and going through the tricky Degner corners here as they are right now. Benz in 4th position has been gapped slightly here from Biggerwood, who is all those lead runners now on the medium tyre, and it's an uphill battle for the drivers as they run on the soft tyres, and a defensive shape going into the hairpin here from the Mega driver, and a beautiful switchback from Black Evo, who just leaves him standing. Great overtake and clean as well from Black Evo to complete that one, and he screams into P5, leaving myself just trying to pick up the pieces now and see if he can hang on as much as possible. Wask though is the big threat from behind. He's got that front wing damage, unbeknownst to most of the rivals around him, trying to pretend as if there isn't a problem. And the slipstream is being utilised here. No boost on these cars like there are in the SF23s. This is very traditional racing, fairly low top end speed, high downforce, good response on the slipstream. But then it's all about just stitching the corners together, making sure you've got the best momentum, never more so than at this fabulous Suzuka circuit, which has definitely proved a bit of a shake-up in the speed order of things so far in the season. Of course, we've had Lago Maggiore, we've had the fantastic Watkins Glen, but this one, the most historic and challenging circuit, I would say so far for certainly the majority of our races. Rysbach in 9th position. Then we've got a battle over 10th. It's Wilson Core in the Coach Dave Academy car being caught by Stormborn here. Let's sit on Stormborn's shoulder, shall we, through the next few corners and see if we can start to gain some ground on Wilson Court in the Coach Dave Academy car. Great vision out of the mirrors as well in these Red Bull Junior cars designed by the great Adrian Newey, of course, for Gran Turismo exclusively. I think back at Gran Turismo 6, this shape of car was first revealed, almost a precursor to the VGT style cars. It just basically said, design us a formula car with no rules, and this is kind of what it came up with, which is awesome. Lucas de Brusque then in P12, and this is over his shoulder. Remember the rear of the car damage on the Delesi car at this stage. That looks to be, is that Naruto helmet design for Lucas? I don't know my anime brilliantly, but I think that might be Naruto. Then we've got Millo, who's got up past Sparky Watt now, and that black cloud is looking very, very threatening for the drivers. I know some of them will be leaving their weather radar indicator on the whole time. This is Sparky Watt, the Belgian driver, as Reveille finally pits off the soft tyres after just 5 laps. That would have brought a great sigh of relief from certainly Finn, if not Biggerwood as well, who both pass him as they head down the start-finish straight. The gap's really opening up now at the head of the field, but it's still really close racing between P5 and P6. This is Black Evo leading myself at this stage, and trying to stay with Black Evo. In fact, trying to put him off, but Black Evo wasn't going to buy any of that. That was a pretty futile attempt to disrupt Black Evo's rhythm as they run on through turns 1 and 2. The mega team with very high expectations at this point in the season, thanks to a strong opening part, and I think leading the combined team standings after round 2 was complete from all 5 divisions, and then the pressure starting to really be felt, certainly by this hopeless excuse for a driver. Looking on the way into Degner 2, there was a strong gain going through Dunlop for a moment, but unable really to translate it, and then entering a section of the track where clearly I'm a little slower than Black Evo running through, as trying to look after the tyres, and I was finding at this stage that my fuel economy was feeling actually surprisingly good in comparison to my teammate. Of course, all of our drivers in touch not just with Hector, the race engineer, but with each other on a call. So we were comparing notes at this stage, and of course big thanks to team captain Vicinity, who was talking in the ear the whole time, and talking me through the lap, trying to coach me into a better position than I found myself. Then we've got Wask in P6. That's enough about me. You can always watch my streamed race if you're that interested. Wask is now catching, but with that front wing damage will suffer through corners such as the next one, which is the 130R corner. Then we've got potentially a possible move coming here. We'll see if there's a defensive shape from Black Evo. There is, as he cuts back in and then needing to make slightly avoiding action in the braking zone. But Wask is doing his level best here as we wait for the second strategy of pit stops to come in, which won't be coming until something around lap 10 or so. But Jazzy Beats managed 6 laps on the soft tyres and heads on into the pit lane to try and get an undercut on the drivers in front of him. That is going to promote Wilson Core here in the Coach Dave Academy car, ahead up into P8, and I would imagine shortly that's going to also be Stormborn who comes through. Yes, indeed. Actually, those 3 drivers are still very, very close to one another. I really don't want to watch myself here, but this was the closest battle on the grid at this point. Black Evo in 4th, and Wask in 6th here, leading the second mega driver. Wask going for the Pringles, getting some Pringles sponsorship in the big dollar area next to his racing helmet, where all the photographers try and capture the action. But yeah, very close battle going on at the moment, though. It's Finn, Bigerwood and Benz leading ahead of this group, thanks to the pit stops of the soft starters such as Revelit, who came out of the pits behind this battle on screen, and will be feeling the need to start really pushing and try and at least stay with them until they themselves have to pit and get himself back into podium and possible victory contention. Finn ahead of Bigerwood, ahead of Benz right now. So that's Buckstein 3 and 4. That's Mega 1st and 5th currently. That is Jan Placht running through as we look for a move around the outside potentially of 130R. No, that was pure grip on the way out of Spoon 2, and then let's see if Black Evo tries the move back on the Mega driver. Well, braking heavily down in unfamiliar territory, offline here for a moment, but unfortunately it's single file for Black Evo. There's no way through, but I think he'll be getting a good exit, focusing on his exit here, and then it's about moving around in the background. Is there a gap up against the pit wall? Not quite, as we get a big defensive shape going on. Let's see as we then run side by side, but have to go out on the marbles. That is dangerous territory, and he has to then dip the throttle, touch the brakes, and relieve some pressure there, but down into 5th, and I don't think the race is run at the moment for Black Evo. Let's see if we can see, can we, behind this group, where is Revelit at the moment in the Jan Placht car? He's about a corner behind them all in his Penguin helmet at this stage, and then I think we've got some close running here. This is Jazzy Beats ahead of Stormborn. Jazzy Beats having pitted, and I think just made a manoeuvre to get through past. Let's see how that eventuated. Here we go, down the inside line into turn 1. That was the gap that other drivers are looking for. Stormborn not fighting it too hard at this stage, knows that her race is not with Jazzy Beats on strategy right now. She's well into her medium tyre stint at this stage. You can see the family helmet designer is similar between the two, of Stormborn and husband Arya. They both have the Canadian maple leaf front and centre on the helmet, as does Pat Finn, in fact, as well. 100% sure about Wask. Actually, no, he's gone for very much in line with the Lessie livery helmet here, so not holding on to any individuality on the helmet. But he's now chasing down Black Evo, and on much better tyres, not better tyres I should say. This is Revelit behind on the better tyres. These two, he has held on to a little bit more in the way of grip than Black Evo. Seems to have spent quite a lot out of his tyres at this stage, despite the fact that Wask has poor front wing downforce. He is catching, and will it be a pass? No, he just has a little look down the inside, just tries to put Black Evo onto a difficult line, but Black Evo is just sufficiently far ahead and calm enough not to fight this too hard. But Revelit is going to be thinking, well, I'm going to be stuck behind these guys for 2 laps now. This is problematic. And then in comes Wask, just as we say, as potentially the soft window opens for him. Certainly that was adventurous, I think, an early pit stop. Most drivers would be wanting to try and hit the 9th lap, if not the 10th lap before pitting. I think I took it to lap 11, such was my fuel economy, which might be because I'm changing gear far too early, but we will wait and see about that later on in the season. This is Revelit in P6, who has, I think, blue, white and red on his sleeve instead of the green. Yeah, that is blue on his sleeve. So rocking some combination of French or possibly Dutch for the Jan Placht Interiors national team, as Revelit then heads into Degner 1 on much better tyres at this stage. He's used the favoured soft tyre, but he's got lots of work to do still to try and get back into touch here with the potential win. Finn is your leader thanks to this pit stop from Revelit, ahead of Bigerwood, ahead of Benz. Big gaps now opening between those drivers. It's now the closest battle on the grid is between Revelit and Black Evo 5th, and further back we also then have Wask having come out of the pits directly in front of Stormborn. Wask on the new soft tyres. He's going to have to make those tyres last a long time, and that is going to be an interesting one to watch through the rest of the race. Stormborn's got to wonder how many drivers are going to come out directly in front of her front wing through the course of this race. This is Millo in P11. He was dead last earlier on, so certainly managing to wrestle that first lap excitement down a little, and still on the medium tyres, of course. Then we've got Rizbak, who is on new medium tyres and either didn't repair his front wing or has re-damaged his front wing. The Kimi's racing driver with the Ferrari badged engine, and just as I said that Millo was doing a calmer job of it, unfortunately loses the rear end of the car coming out of the hairpin and nerfs into the barrier face forward, which is not comfortable in VR, you have to say, especially if you've had a real life car accident in the past. That is pretty an uncomfortable place to be. I suggest closing your eyes and taking your hands off the wheel once you know it's inevitable. Then you've got Sparky Watt in P14 in the Coach Dave Academy car. Stormborn pits from P10, and as they close out lap 10, it looks like the leader Finn is going to have to pit as well. I should say Stormborn pitting at the end of her lap 9. Finn here with insufficient fuel to go any longer. I think the tyres would have run and run, and Bigger would, having preserved a little extra fuel here in comparison to Finn, might be able to squeeze an extra lap out of this one. Benz is in third. I'm running in P4 with, well, the first driver's still with white line left on the fuel, but that didn't last long enough for me to even announce it. Revelit obviously having refueled, and that's interesting because he obviously had to make the determination of fuel usage with a lot of the race still to run, but has got himself ahead of Black Evo there. So Black Evo again on his way towards pit road, I think, as is now Finn, and into the pits. That camera angle, I do have to apologise, it is atrocious. You can just see the hints of the Versace race suit. I think the first Versace race suit in history for Biggerwood as he comes in, and then I wonder if Benz is going to enter the pit lane as well here at the end of lap 10. It is, and then enjoying his moment in the sun, I imagine, will be the second Mega driver who, for the first time this season, will take the lead of the race, albeit for less than a lap. So heading on through ahead of Revelit now, and we shall probably see Finn on his way out of the pit lane. He is on his way out, but he comes out into third position. So Revelit having performed not necessarily the undercut because he was ahead of Finn, but it means that you can lick your lips because we are expecting Finn on the new soft tyres to start closing in and battle here for potentially his second win of the championship so far. He did kind of got the honorary win in the first round because we had a guest driver out of division who was quite quickly bundled into a faster race seat who won the first race at Lago Maggiore. Of course, all the races available here on the SVR official playlist. You can catch all the races here on Webbo Red 5, and of course the S1 divisions exclusively on @SVR-Racing. We ask for your subscriptions and likes on the channel just to help the channel grow, the SVR Racing channel grow as much as possible, and please make sure that you check out ways to support the continued broadcasting, whether that's if you find a company that would like their name on the screen in order to pay for the broadcasts and all the work that goes in, or you would like to give in a regular basis or on a one-off basis. There are ways to donate to the league. Just look for the correct avenue within there. And if you are feeling generous and feel like issuing a tip my way, there are avenues for that too, either on this channel or, of course, you can do that through DM message gifts as well. But that's enough about all of that. It's Webbo at the head of the field, heading on the longest run, the 11-lap run here at the start of the race, and then Revelit in the net P1. He will now go into the real P1, closely followed by Finn. Then we've got Wask, who made an early pit stop onto the soft tyre, is looking like he's about to put in a fastest lap of the race. Let's stay with him for a few minutes while we go through that order. Running through the final corner, the so-called last curve, taking a fairly narrow line, and does complete the new fastest lap of the race. Wask on P6 as rival Webbo comes out of the pit lane directly behind him, and on the new soft tyres, starting to sweat and worry about whether the tyres are warm enough to get racing yet or not. This is Finn now, though, really catching Revelit. This is the difference in tyre and overall pace. Of course, Revelit with the pole position, but having to make these medium tyres last longer than he's comfortable, because the soft tyres did wear through very, very quickly. Finn with open racetrack behind him, no worries from a challenge from Biggerwood coming. Biggerwood a little bit in no man's land at the moment as he runs through and heads on down to the hairpin after these guys, but Finn catching now certainly that gap within a second or so, but no DRS, no ERS, no push to pass for the Adrian Newey League here. It is all pure traditional racing action going on. Got the wheel covers. It might look a little bit like a Formula E kart, but it is all naturally aspirated engine. It's a Cosworth engine, I believe, in the back. And here comes Finn being watched by the trackside photographer. Finn on a new fastest lap attempt at the moment, getting a good tow. He might lose those 3/10 following Revelit here. Let's see if this will turn into a bid for the lead. It's like 12 of 15 already. This race absolutely flying by, but time running out now for Finn to make the difference. That is the new fastest lap of the race, a 1:59.8, the first driver under 2 minutes, and lots of work still to do to make the pass and then make it stick if he can do it. Down into turn 1, through into turn 2. It's all about rhythm this section, and unfortunately Revelit making the job really easy and running out of rhythm and possibly medium tyre grip as he runs through. Unfortunately, that was a unforced error potentially, although obviously Finn was breathing down his neck. But Revelit now looking at the sky as well and thinking, I wonder if we're going to get rain at the end of this one. It's Finn in the lead of the race with 2 and 2/3 laps left to run. It's Biggerwood in 3rd position with Revelit in that 2nd place. Benz is in 4th on the soft tyres himself, and then Wask on the soft tyres that he's trying to make last to the end of the race. This could be a race at the end of this one between Benz, Wask and Webbo, who follows in 6th place, somewhat disappointed with where things currently are. Jazzy Beats is starting to close in as well, but he's on medium tyres. Webbo, remember, on the youngest soft tyres in the on the grid at the moment, so should have a massive advantage, but it doesn't look like it on track with his lap times. 2:01 was Jazzy Beats' last lap. Obviously, Webbo still on his first flying lap here after fitting the soft tyres. Black Evo is in 8th place. We have got a pretty close field here. The top 8 separated by not very much at all. Then we've got Wilson Core in 9th, going through the tricky Degner 1, Degner 2 section. We have Stormborn in 10th, and now, I think thankfully, without drivers exiting the pits around her. Then we've got Rizbak, teammate to Stormborn, down in 11th. We've got Millo in 12th place at this time on the soft tyres. Behind him, Sparky Watts, and then Lucas, unfortunately back where he started at the back of the grid. That is a little bit of a shame for him, with 2 and a bit laps left for him to run. But Finn is starting his 14th lap at the head of the field, and now starting to calm things down a little bit and maintain the gap rather than try and build it. I think he has the fastest lap of the race at the moment. I don't see many people able to go a lot faster as the fuel burns off, yes, but the soft tyres also need protecting here, especially if you pitted on lap 9 or at the end of lap 9 or the end of lap 10. Revelit, P2, was the leader, was the pole position runner as well, but it looks like possibly just not necessarily on the right strategy today in comparison to the other drivers in the top 8. Then you've got Biggerwood, who is having to look after these tyres to a large degree, and Ben's taking his Bergstein Transport Service car comfortably at this stage, car 83, just ahead of Wask. And then we've got the second Mega driver in P6 being chased down and pressured by Jazzy Beats, and this one could be a pressureful situation here. Let's follow this battle at the moment, albeit watching a driver that makes me horribly uncomfortable to do so. It's car 142. I like the fact that Brokaga have gone for very, very large race numbers on their cars. Wask possibly closing in on Benz here. Wask needing the points, having not taken part in the first race of the season so far, but certainly having strong pace. And our two Canadians, Pat Finn and Wask, not our only two Canadians, but our two Canadians at the front of the pace so far this season, and only living about an hour apart as well. We'll be drawing swords, I'm sure, in the remaining 11 rounds after this one. 11 rounds after this one? 10 rounds after this one. It's a 13 race championship. I just can't do maths on the fly, unfortunately. Here is Jazzy Beats then chasing down the Mega driver, and in front of this we've got the battle developing as they start the final lap of the race. Wask on Benz, and this is a close one. Check in on the leaders as Finn is opening that gap now to the car behind Revelit. So it looks like it's going to be Benz and Wask where the peril currently lies, where the potential for an overtake looms large as they run through the S's. This is low fuel, low grip times here for the drivers. Wask on the oldest soft tyres on the grid. Benz stopping with the majority of the drivers who started on the mediums at the end of that lap 10. So roughly running the softs for half the length of time that the mediums ran. You can just see some of the suspension travel there on the car. It looks like Jazzy Beats has dropped back slightly from pressurising the Mega driver, and now behind him we've got Black Evo chasing him down. Jazzy Beats on the mediums, very much soft tyres for Black Evo, and a little bit of contact possibly into the hairpin. That won't favour anybody post race in the stewards room. I don't think that's going to be talked about later, I imagine, if we end up with a reversal of these two positions at this stage. But chasing him down and heading into Spoon 1 they go. We better go up towards the head of the field though, because coming into the Casio Triangle for the final time and opening a huge gap at this stage, running through the last curve, comes now our back-to-back double winner, Pat Finn, who wins in Suzuka to the applause of the crowd. Revelit with a hard-fought second place, and Biggerwood, a great result for Jamplacht Interiors to come through and finish on the podium. So as their battle for the top of the championship, Constructors' Championship heats up between themselves and Team Mega, the team will be pleased with that third place. Ben's just ahead of Wask, and look at this, Webbo ran out of fuel on the line, having underfueled at the pit stop, thinking he was much smarter than he actually was. Black Evo finishes 7th, Jazzy Beats in 8th, Wilson Core. An eventful race, you have to say, but finds himself completely in no man's land here, and is almost guaranteed a 9th place finish. I just need to rattle through these, unfortunately. And then we've got Stormborn in 10th, Rizback running in 11th, Millo in 12th, and Sparky Watts in 13th. Lucas crossed the line there among the leaders, just about being lapped, but it's all about Pat Finn, Revelit and Biggerwood today, your podium for the Suzuka round of our championship. Next up, we go to Interlagos for round 4 of the championship, but before all that happens, remember it's GT racing this weekend with the S3 and S4 divisions, the top tier and second tier of our GT racing events on Sunday. So look forward to that and the following week for the S4 division. But from me, Webbo, from us here at SVR, thanks so much for watching, and we will catch you on the next race day.